Welcome back to the OPL, brought to you by Hungry Jacks. Of course, this is a tale as old as time. The Shield battling it out against a tree. Obviously, a childhood classic. And the tree in game number 1 able to pick up the victory.
I mean,
it brings a tear to your eye.
If a big trunk falls on a piece of metal, you expect the metal to crumple underneath it. That's just physics. That's how it works. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw in that game 1. Chiefs versus Legacy. Just a crumpling shield and just a big
tree.
Yep.
And I think that this game was a really fun game to watch because it kind of had everything. It had, like, you know, a little bit more of a quiet laning phase into some very risky engages and dives trying to be executed, and then a good level-headed sense of macro coming out of Legacy in the end probably secured them more than what people would have thought.
Not to mention some outplays. That dive on Mimic in the bottom lane was actually just so clean. If you go back and watch that highlight, I was very impressed. Obviously, during a game, we didn't get a replay because it was on screen, but that was just incredibly impressive, to be honest, that performance. People say he's not a tank player, but he's on looking pretty good.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, he's a good player. I think that even if you come over as like someone that's known for carries, if you are a good player, you should be able to play everything, which is why I don't buy into the fact that I'm a good player, but I can only play like X. Like, if you're actually elite within League of Legends, you will find a way to make it work. And in that game, Mimic was on point with engages, on point with his teleports a lot of the time. And I mean, it's not easy to know when to use that Call of the Forge God because it is such a long range and you have to be able to work out your angles real quickly, you know, do your sign, cos and tan and stuff, but he was able to get it to work. What are you talking about?
Vel'Koz is the trig guy. Come on. You can't claim it's on. That's just...
Come on, mate. He's pretty close.
I mean, yeah. I think I really want to see like Chiefs kind of bounce back because
of course
we've seen a lot of.
You've been apologising for them all split.
Okay, but in terms of like objectively unbiased, I think we've seen a lot of 2-0s this split. We've seen so many 2-0s, and I'm sick of 2-0s, and I really want to see this game go to 3 games, to be honest, because this is potentially the closest series we've seen so far. That was a very back-and-forth game, and it wasn't a messy back-and-forth game, to be honest. There was like team fight execution errors on both sides, I think, for the most part, but macro game was good, as you were mentioning, for the most part, and it's exciting to see these teams do take on each other, and there's a lot of give and take between them. And as you said, following that game, it's not like a bunch of people are playing badly and then one team wins because of that. A bunch of people are elevating their play. Everyone's playing good. Decoy played real well, I think, just to highlight one, and I think overall, and that's why it makes it just such an exciting game.
And I think this is why people were excited about Legacy, not only for that man on your screen, Mimic, who played a much better game 3 than he had his first 2, but the fact that this is a team that it was like, who is the carry? What is their identity? What does this team look like? When you look at the Chiefs, you're like, okay, Ryoma gets raised to late game. Raze kills everyone. Swiper kind of does his thing. Babbitt, maybe an aggressive jungler. Like you can see their identity at that stage. But Legacy, I mean, what was it? It's like Claire and 4 guys coming together to try and have a crack at it. And then, like, but now they're like all across the board. They look like they've actually performing well.
Yeah, and I mean, you hope that brings versatility, right? You think that the Mimic can play the carries, but then it can also play the tanks. You want their bot lane. They've shown that they can be quite defensive, but then picking up the Zyra Khan that game, a lot of good engages coming out of Decoy. Great game out of Raid, I think. And yeah, hopefully it adds diversity to this team as we get into game 2. I want to see a 1-1. I want to see a Chiefs victory this one, and then game 3, like 94-minute SKT game. Let's go, you know. Let's do it. Let's cast a 94-minute game, man.
I would cast a 94-minute game. I just wish they would give me a cast that obviously is not rooting for one of the teams. However, Cassiopeia banned away. Gangplank hits the bench as well. Zoe.
They're all gone. 2 mid laners. Kallista's going to be banned away, surely, by the Chiefs. Respecting that one. No, it's actually going to be the Camille.
I wonder if they stick to the same 3 bans, whether they get rid of Jax as well, because obviously that is what they went with on blue side. Azir taken away, and maybe, you know, Zyra Khan.
I reckon
strength, they can just take it into a Callista lane.
I reckon they have to ban away the Callista. I think Callista's too strong, yeah. I mean, there is the thought process that teams haven't had practice on it because it has just been perma-banned.
They don't ban it. They disagree.
For 2 patches right now. Actually, okay, this will be interesting to see if Legacy actually pick it up. Raid, not really known as a Callista player, more of a Varus Ashe player.
But he's going to grab it. I think what you do right now is you just go Callista Khan. And then they have to, Zyra Khan. Then they have to play something like Callista Thresh.
Well, they have to play Braum.
Or Braum, potentially.
But it's got to be Fiora, apparently. DOS Fiora, swipe a Fiora. No,
They don't go for it.
They don't pick it up.
Now, All right, cool. So Alistar going to be the answer.
Destiny looks pretty happy with it, to be honest. Bobbling his head around, had a smile on his face as they locked that one in.
Rakan.
Pretty
It's
keen.
a very good lane, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Ali has served fairly well into Rakan. Obviously, you can break the CC from the ulti, and you can also headbutt him away.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good matchup there. And also, Kallista's fairly immobile until she starts getting those tier 2 boots.
She needs boots too.
Yep. Those jumps aren't too effective. And also, she's one of those AD carries that when you're playing like Blitzcrank against an AD carry, and you're like, it's a Draven, you're like, hey, I know he's going to pick up his axe here.
Yep.
Kallista works, not to the same extent, not to the same extreme, but in a similar fashion. You know she's going to auto-attack, and she has to dash, and that's a LeBlanc.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a Talia that's been blinded, and a LeBlanc has been picked up into it. So,
Damn.
yeah.
Damn.
That's spicy.
Here we go. Claire obviously had the confidence going from game 1 to 2 to just blind pick the Talia.
Yep.
After that good performance there.
I want to see whether... So there was a Talia build that Swiffer was a big fan of last year, where you would just go blue tone. I don't know the actual name of it, so you're going to have to have the Lost Chapter?
Yeah,
that's
what
it's called.
Lost Chapter, yeah.
Into immediate Banshee's Veil.
Yep.
And then you just, you get some cooldown reduction from the Banshees. You get all of the mana back from the Lost Chapters. So see whether he goes with something like that or whether he goes, just Merc Treads and tries to live through the lane regardless. Obviously not a matchup I'm all that familiar with this year.
Yep, you have to think that they're going to pick a fairly engaged heavy jungler on the side of Babip here. You think with that LeBlanc lane, what you will try to do, Claire obviously has the push priority in that matchup with the Talia.
Yep.
You want to be ganking that once you get a few points. Once they get a few levels and they have that chain available. So they do ban away the Kha'Zix. That's an adaptation from Legacy. They're not willing to play into that double assassin combo in the mid lane.
And Chiefs ban away the Ornn, which is interesting, and Shen. So you would argue right now that 5 bans have been thrown at Mimic, because obviously Rise, Flex Pick. I'm pushing now.
You're pushing. You're pushing. He's lock eyes with me. You're like, oh no, he's not going to let me have it.
And that's Nidalee.
Okay, that is interesting.
It's the old school counter pick into Sejuani, however.
Yes, but that is not a good 2v2 into Talia Sejuani.
No, I don't think it is either.
But they're not going to try to do that, obviously.
No, maybe they just look for... Maybe they just, I don't know, try and neutralize midwave somehow. What is that?
Is that like a coloring book? Mega scrapbook. Nice. Nice. If we can get the camera on Swiper and he's doing a dinosaur, I really wish he could do his dinosaur face. That was... he does.
Doorman picked up for Decoy. He's not doing a dinosaur face.
Come on, man. But no, talk about this Nidalee real quick. So obviously, if he gets an advantage early, we'll snowball super hard onto the Sejuani. So this jungle matchup, they won't be looking for fighting around that 2v2 in the mid lane. Claire, Sybil, if they do land any CC, that's a cannon.
Oh! This is Swiper's counter pick! This is when people were playing Nah, he's like, don't worry, I'm the best Nah, but I'm also the best cannon. So I'm going to look to take that. Of course, Swiper played at AP. See whether Mimic takes an AD version of it, as Chippies was very fond of last year. Also, people like Marin around the world. Tristana going to be the final lock-in. So Tristana versus Kalista, always been a pretty good matchup for Tristana.
And Destiny is an absolute genius, picking that Alistar blind and then having it into a cannon. So Exhaust is obviously the biggest thing that's so effective into cannon, but Destiny looks like he's taking the Ignite right now. Going to just bank on the fact that he can headbutt away Mimic from these team fights.
I think he's banking on the fact that it's AD.
Yep.
Because Exhaust doesn't do all that much against AD.
Yep, potentially. He just walks away, just kites you back instead of jumping forward with the ulti. Obviously, very different playstyle for the same champion there versus AD versus AP.
Yep. Or maybe he just has a spellbook. And he says, you know what? Let's take Ignite for the lane, and then we'll just play it by ear.
Yep. To be honest, I don't think he should be comboing into this lane so far. The Braum will block the follow-up damage and the satchel from the Tristana, so unless he gets both Braum and Kalista in his knock-up, I don't think they'll be winning trades with Destiny initiating them there.
Bottom lane is very nuanced at the moment, I feel like. I think that... I mean, I keep saying it. I feel like in laning phase, Braum just negates so much of the aggression. Then obviously Kalista will turn him into an aggressive support at level 6.
Yep.
But they're just going to look to be neutralizing the wave, probably controlling bottom side river, doing everything that bottom lanes look for. And honestly, if you're Raze and your Destiny on Tristana, Alistar, two of the best scaling champions in the game, I don't think you really mind about going neutral into a Kalista lane.
Absolutely not here. Raze looking pretty focused as we're about to get into game number 2. Chiefs versus Legacy. Legacy 1-0 up in the series so far. Claire taking that Talia once again.
nice intro on for Summoner's Rift. You want to throw to the interview? You want me to do it?
No, we can throw it to the interview. Laura standing beside the coach that we did not talk to last game, so it won't be Fantix. It'll be Soul Strikes for Legacy.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm standing here along with Soul Strikes. I briefly want to start by touching on last week. The team said that they were expecting a 2-0 against Avantbet. Obviously, that didn't happen. How did that result affect your preparation coming into this week?
Obviously, we needed to prepare a lot more coming into Chiefs game, and the results are showing right now. But yeah, like we had to think about it last week's game and move on from there.
The Chiefs have also picked up LeBlanc into Claire's Talia this game. Were you expecting this kind of pick to come out from the Chiefs?
Yeah, sort of. Like it's probably Tommy's one of the best champ, and he just wants to kill Brandon. And Brandon just needs to respect Tommy's LeBlanc, and we will definitely be able to play around his LeBlanc. And
Mimic's playing Kennen today. Is his champion pool just ridiculous after having so many bans thrown to him, or how do you think he's going to go into NAR today?
We actually have like certain champs we practice, and I actually know Mimic's going to get a lot of bans thrown, so he's going to be playing a lot more different champs.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Best of luck with this series, and thank you for talking to us.
All right, thank you.
Always good to hear from Soul Strikes. I agree with him. Mimic probably going to cop the most targeted bans.
Yep.
Mimic and Shock are probably the two players that will take the most target bans. Obviously, right now, you could be like, what about 80 carries? They get Kalista banned every game. Well, that's not because...
It's not a target ban if everybody is getting the Kalista ban.
That's just because she's obnoxious. So we'll see how this match sorts itself out. Want to mention the fact that Babip has gone blue 2 wolves to red. It's the quickest clear nearly on a jungler in the game. And see whether he's able to make something happen around Summoner's Rift with that.
Bunch of missing pings going out into about where Babip is right now on the side of Sybil. Babip probably just going to be looking to scout out that Sejuani. He's spotted on the ward right now, so they do know where he is.
Yeah, certainly is. They're actually looking for a top lane gank already, so they should know this and see if a counter gank is going to come across. You can see in goes a Mega Gnar. Mimic is in a lot of trouble. Will flash out of that boulder, but takes about 3 red buff auto attacks. Probably going to have to go back to base already as Sybil's going to find Babip here. Misses a second end of the flail. However, the stun will still come out. That is the ignite. And this could be a double buff going across for Mimic. He will pick it up. First blood to the Korean top laner of Legacy.
Not to mention Claire was coming as well. That would have been a 3 versus 2 there in the top side. Had so much priority in the mid. You have to think at the start of the gank, I'm like questioning, how does Mimic let this happen? He knew Babip was up there, but takes a majority of his HP bar there, pops a pot, but Sybil finds his way into Babip, and that's so bad for this matchup. The Nidalee needs to be ahead of tempo, that he needs to be able to farm ahead of the Sejuani, but now with that death, can't even finish his jungle item on first base.
Not to mention what it does to bottom side of the map as in goes Ryoma, actually lands the chains.
Trade.
Good trade there, however. Is going to be heal picked up for Claire and teleport picked up by Ryoma. So at this stage of the lane, you would not expect either of these mid lanes to be killing each other.
We have no spellbook in the mid lane this game for the first time today, I think.
Swiper's like, I've been counterpicked. I'm getting laughed at by an annoying, whatever the heck that is.
He's emoting.
Space rat.
Space rat.
And he has a double buff to make matters worse.
He's going to be poking him under turret. Swiper going to be farming as best as he can for the next few minutes while these buffs are active. Mimic just going to be looking to pressure as hard as possible. But you were mentioning about the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, what happened is obviously junglers show topside. Bottom lane was able to push in, and now they just get very good deep vision into Babip's bottom side jungle, so they actually know exactly where he is. And you can see straight away they play respectfully mid lane. Sejuani's not there, but they cheat into the jungle with the Braum, and Babip's his job there was to get a Raptor camp. He's actually like, I can't get it, guys, because there's no pressure on the map.
Yep, the recall does come out of Roma, and he TP's back to lane. Got himself a Dark Seal to benefit that Corrupting Pot right now. Decoy once again using the Legacy Braum skin. Great consistency out of the man in the bot lane. Mimic looking for a bit of an engage, but can't find it.
I mean, he's still getting good damage just off that empowered auto attack, as well as a little bit of a cheeky W. I don't know what that one's called, Lightning Surge or something crazy.
Some lightning strikers. Yeah, Ryoma, round 2.
Yeah, exactly right. That's going to be a spear landing, so heal will be used. You can see Claire expected the flash pounce to come out.
buffering that knockback to keep the Nidalee away from him, but Babip smartly doesn't go for the play there. Sybil clearing out a bunch of vision, is a level up in this matchup already. 10 CS, so 2 camps and a little bit over Babip right now. Once again, we have to just track Mimic's build right now. Obviously gone the Doran's blade, but both AD and AP cannons.
I mean, there was a crazy time in the world. Do you remember this when cannons would go Blade of the Roaring King into Spellvamp books?
And just do a bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
Can't make up their minds, so make up after one item, after they haven't committed one way or another. But he had put 3 points in the W.
Both forms of cannon also do that generally, as we see Headbutt Pulve engage, and this is actually going to be a full satchel explosion coming across, and that will be a kill in the 2v2 going across for Destiny and Raze.
And they make it look so easy. The combo lands, he hits the ignite, and that's just a cheeky kill for the bottom lane of the Chiefs.
Yeah, meanwhile, top lane, you can see Swiper is mega. In goes Mimic. Gonna you look for the ulti? No, he does not. So a little bit of miscommunication out of Sybil and Mimic there. Now Mimic actually in some big trouble. Uses the ultimate anyway, and Swiper just hops away. Big miscommunication coming out.
And I feel like that's such an overreach. Sybil only level 5, even if Mimic actually... No, it's just a nice trade coming out of Ryoma there. But even if Mimic can stun up Swiper, Sybil won't be able to CC him immediately. We'll just be able to walk away, flash away if he needs to. But unfortunately for them, they commit. They burn that ulti as well on the side of the cannon.
AP cannon, and there is no exhaust coming out. So Mimic is going to do a truckload of damage if Destiny is not on point. As we see Babip going for an invade one more time. He's just not got any support. Now Destiny is here.
They're looking. Sybil, is he going to face check? He is. Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a free kill. That goes to Raze as well. So 2 kills. Sorry, only the one. Destiny got the other one with Ignite.
Yeah. But that's honestly, for Sybil to walk out of base with a ward and not just drop it over the back of the red buff pit to face check when everyone is missing off Summoner's Rift, I feel is actually just a crucial mistake.
Yeah, fairly greedy. And also, it's an Alistar's ideal situation where someone walks so close to the bush where you don't actually have to combo. You can just hit him with a Q, layer it with the E, and then headbutt him backwards into his team. So Sybil walked so close to that bush, had no interest in warding it, was trying to look for Babip, but as you mentioned, unfortunately, there's a cow there with an angry Yordle with a gun. Sybil's going to go down. The camps do even out
Tristana
fairly
angry?
evenly. Tristana?
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon
feel
she's
like
pretty angry when she
Teemo
presses Q.
is like the angry one out of the Yordles.
Does he have a gun, though? It's more of like a
It's a blowpipe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So Cled's also pretty... No, but Cled's just crazy, the poor guy.
Yeah, nah, true. I agree with that. What about Rumble? He's technically a Yordle. Yeah. As our Chief spot lane has hit level 6, Legacy sitting level 5 right now, just farming under the turret. Despite that kill, the CS is fairly even. Obviously, Chiefs did rotate up towards the mid lane to get that pick onto Sybil. So CS scores across the map are fairly even. Bit of an advantage for Mimic on the top side of the map right now. 15 CS-ish up there. Swiper,
big damage coming out of Ryoma. Actually just sticks around for the empowered R. Says, I don't think I can hit him with 2 chains. So just goes for the cheeky trade.
A bunch of stopwatches. 5 for the side of Legacy, still online right now. Every single member really wants to tell the time. As we take a look at the gold real quick, Mimic about 800 gold up in this 1v1 matchup. Obviously that kill helping out a great deal there.
Yeah, first blood worth about 500-ish of that.
Yep.
Plus all the CS that he is up as well. This is a counter pick for Mimic, so whilst he's performing very well in it, and it's been accelerated by that kill, this is the way you expect the lane to go.
Yep, it is the way we expect, but this is the first counter pick we've seen for Mimic, right? He's played the Ornn into that Gnar, and then he's played the, he's also played the Gnar into the
TP coming out of Gnar into the bottom lane. They know that Sejuani is top side of the map. Raid uses a stopwatch nice and early. Where's the TP out of Mimic? It is not available, so instead, that is just going to be a 2v4 turret dive.
Oh, nice
Decoy
stopwatch.
uses a stopwatch. Swiper is down there tanking up the turret. You can see that now Babip takes aggro. Will be able to get out. However, big damage will go onto the top lane turret as well.
It is the Raze. Who gets more damage down? Tristana obviously pushes very quickly, and there's more members for the Chiefs. But Legacy had access to the turret first. Potentially, first brick going over to Legacy. Very close between them. The satchel blows up.
Yeah, and actually it's going to be the Chiefs just winning. But they will share it 3 ways.
Yep.
Whereas, I mean, the right call for Sybil there is to say, okay, we're not going to take it this wave. Let's give all the gold to our top laner.
Yeah,
but doesn't go for that.
I mean,
I need gold too.
That's a pretty big tempo loss for him to back away, and Mimic have to push out another wave. Chiefs also, they win the race, but they're also going to get this Mountain Drake on the back of that. So
I mean, they push through. Technically, Mimic should be staying for this wave as well.
Yep.
If you're going to take the creep wave. Otherwise, you just let it bounce off the turret. So I don't think they would have lost all that much tempo because they killed the creep wave anyway. Semantics.
As mid lane's been pretty... Oh, actually, chain lands.
You say pretty even, but that is going to be the stopwatch coming out of Claire. Good aggressive play coming out of Ryoma.
I didn't say pretty anything, actually. I
said
pretty, and then I was about to say something that didn't fit the circumstances anymore. But yeah, I was going to say pretty even for the most part. Ryoma hasn't found too much damage onto Claire. A chunk every now and again, but it hasn't been committed on by any other members. But in saying that, they do have the Nidalee, and we mentioned they don't want to be forcing these huge fights in the mid lane. They do need that chain to line up, sync up with that spear. But if they don't get the insta-give, then Sybil coming in with a CC will mean that Legacy will win that 2v2.
And look at what Razor's done top lane. That's so cute. He knows that should have been a bounce. He just holds a creep wave there. He actually kills a full another creep wave. And now he'll start to push that out. It just means that Raid and Decoy are going to have access to even less creeps up there in the top lane. So CS advantage will be going across to the Chiefs lineup. Wall comes out. Actually, that's going to be Destiny trying to knock him off the wall. However, this is the Braum Sejuani combo we talk about a lot. We'll have to burn that ultimate, and we'll get away with just doing that.
Legacy take the ulti as their prize. Don't want to commit for any sort of kill onto Destiny. They obviously still had the flash, and Babip was around. Can apply the heals here and there, keep him alive a little bit. Bot lanes, as we mentioned, are on the top side of the map now. That's a Minion Dematerializer, the last one used for Destiny right now. Actually, no
ultimate
ulti
coming out, and he doesn't have his ulti in response, so that should be a kill given over to the AD carry of Legacy. Chiefs greedy for the turret, overstay and get punished.
And an assistance ping actually goes down to the bot side. Mimic pinging his team, needs some help under this turret right now. He's looking for something, actually. He's trying to clear out the wave.
I think he was just saying, I don't know where the Nidalee is. I could get dove right now.
Yep.
Someone please come help me.
Yep. But Swiper not having access to Mega means that's fairly unlikely, but Legacy with that pick onto Destiny means they will get access to the Rift Herald right now.
And this is a huge tempo loss because you can see 3 members right now off the map trying to do this Rift Herald. However, you'd have to say that the use of breaking the middle lane turret, trying to open up this game, could be pretty critical. You can see, however, they want to fight this one now. Chains land. Sybil in big trouble. That's a lot of damage coming out. Rage jumps in. Stopwatch, however, means that now he is stuck in there and he cannot jump out. You see, he gets stunned up, gets flicked back, and that is a huge ultimate coming out of Mimic, stunning up multiple members. Ryoma so low, flash forward. Does not get the spear, and now Swiper is here, gets a Mega Gnar, gets a Flash Pulve out of Destiny, and the Chiefs looking to turn this fight on its head. They're so low. Mimic uses a stopwatch, but they just cannot get the last tick of damage, and the Chiefs wipe Legacy.
And a back and forth fight. Legacy looked like they were going to win, but unfortunately Ryoma does not go down. Babip does not go down, and Chiefs, as you say, pick up the victory there. Both carries on the side of Legacy get so incredibly low. As you see this one again, nice block on the spear out of Decoy, but Sybil, this chain lands. He gets so incredibly low, but then he pops the stopwatch. And at this stage, Raze has looked, he's committed. He tried to hit him with a buster shot there, but unfortunately the heal means that he lived. Yep. And so Raze dies immediately. Mimic comes in from the flank. That's a big engage, but they just can't get enough. Flashes out of both carries on the side of Legacy, and that means that Swiper and Destiny have this opportunity. That's effectively a 4-man knockup because Raid has to pull in his support, and they just wipe the floor with Legacy at this point.
Yeah, exactly right. And Mimic kind of wanted his cake, wanted a slice of cake, eat it too. I don't know what the saying is, but what he did is he chased the support instead of just sitting in the choke with the ultimate, and he would have been able to 100% pick up that kill on Ryoma if he had have just sat in the choke. Instead, went for Destiny, and the fact that that was the case means that they both lived. He killed neither.
Fortunate for him there. It's almost a 2,000 gold lead, about 1.5 for Chiefs right now. Pretty small. Raze is looking to eat himself on mid-turret, but unfortunately won't be able to get that. Sybil looking
ultimate
in.
misses.
Nice yeah, misses actually.
Yeah, that should have, I mean, yeah, probably should have been a kill. To be honest, however, did not hit that one. Now Ryoma over the wall looking for the chains onto Sybil. Will be able to land. Where's the second chain? No, 2 chains is not available.
Swiper's looking for Mimic.
Looking for Mimic. Ultimate will come out, and Mimic's just going to walk this one away. But Swiper's starting to win this 1v1.
Yeah, you think if he does get the upper hand there, Mimic does really not want to be burning the ulti on a single-man target, especially... I mean, his TP's down now, but especially once his TP comes up and he has the opportunity for flanks. And that's something we need to track going forward in this game. Legacy's team fight in an ideal world, looks like an engage from Raid or Sybil, throwing either Braum in or getting that Sedge ulti in onto a carry. And then you need that flank from Mimic, right? So we need to be able to track how Sybil and Decoy work together, getting those flank wards. And that's something that's not immediately visible, but is incredibly important to the success of this team comp out of Legacy.
And Mimic is being chunked out again. The second part of the chains land. And he is about to be dove. I mean, he's just getting stalked over around the map right now. The counter pick started to look good, but right now is not looking crash hot at all. And there is no counterplay out of the Legacy lineup. They're not dropping Rift Herald mid, trying to force the tempo on anything. They're just losing across multiple parts of this map.
Yeah, about less than a quarter left of that Rift Herald, so Sybil's going to have to drop it eventually. No members on the top side of the map, so they have that numbers advantage in the mid side, but...
Talia makes her way down bottom lane. Top lane is still just Swiper's lane right now. See where they go for a play here. Mimic looking very low. However, that was Ryoma going very deep. Now being chased out by Claire. See whether he can get anything. Flick misses. And Swiper is still just like, this is fantastic. Top lane vacation.
Sybil has just spent the last 30 seconds just dancing around his bot jungle. Hasn't done a camp because there's none available. Wants to help Mimic in the bot side. Also wants to drop the Rift Herald and just happy feeding between the two. Unfortunately for him, this setup is not going to be too good. They might get one charge.
Yeah, they'll get a charge. They're not getting anything else out of that. And that is a full health turret. So no turret going to go down there. Swiper has caught up in CS now. This mid-game, which was very close, is now a 2,000 gold lead. And that was just purely based off botched lane assignments coming out of the Legacy lineup.
We'll see if Chiefs do.
Swiper was 800 gold down. He's now 100 gold up.
Yeah, sure. That's a big deal, to be honest. He's already got his Cleaver. He's working on his next item. Probably that adaptive help coming through from the Cow. But see if Ryoma does keep getting matched against Mimic. See if there's the lane swap game we see. I mean, Swiper is building magic resist though, so...
Yeah, I think he's fine now in that matchup.
Yeah.
I would actually say there's like no way Swiper dies right now into the cannon. And there is a potential that, you know, someone roams down into Ryoma's lane, so potentially don't want to go for that. Sybil gets chained up. That's going to be a dragon going across to the Chiefs lineup. They'll be able to solo that one out. I think he had the brief health of Alistar before he recalled. And the Chiefs just look pretty calm and in control. I mean, they've got the scaling of Tristana, got the one-shot threat of LeBlanc that's just going to be there all game. And you can see Mimic is playing respectfully, level 11 to level 10, and just gives up the turret nearly.
His bot lane is rotating over, but ooh, that scrying got hit by Destiny very close to the bot lane of Legacy. Not sure if it's spotted them out. I assume not, because there were no pings out. So Mimic does know he's got his bot lane here, but that turret is incredibly low. That's 1 or 2 auto attacks away. Swiper's going to pick that one up eventually. Destiny is coming to help.
Chains land again. Ryoma looking for this one. Double chain comes out. That will be the knock up, and you can see Ryoma in a little bit of trouble. Top lane turret does fall down. Mimic playing so respectfully still. I didn't notice that, but Claire actually used the heal in that exchange. So Ryoma walks away with the summoner spell advantage.
Yeah, he doesn't want to dash over the pebbles with the distortion there, so unfortunately can't clean up the kill. As you mentioned, Claire, I think he healed at the exact second that the chain damage went off, so it looked like his health bar didn't move at all, so we didn't know about that one, but his mid turret is still available, and this is the big breaking point for the Chiefs right now. They are struggling to break this one. Obviously, Legacy had access to the Rift Herald, and they do have 2 pushing side lanes right now, so there is an opportunity for them to break this. Legacy, on the other hand, are a very hard composition to dive.
Ooh, they certainly are. They've got AP. Cannon, obviously, under turret, always a threat. Kalista just doesn't stand still. She dances around, so hard to pin her down. However, at the same time, I mean, if they just sit in 1-3-1 forever, no one can really contest that in the jungle right now. You can see level 11 has started to really accelerate this game. So excited to see the Chiefs now in a gold lead. 20 minutes into this one, start trying to bully around Legacy and what Legacy's response is.
Baron spawning in 30 seconds. Mountain Drake on the side of Chiefs. But no team really has that quicker Baron. Legacy have the potential to secure that one with the Kalista overall, but...
Yeah, they're not incredibly quick at it.
Yeah. Kalista, a lot of people think about Kalista and they're like, oh, she's so good at Baron, but she actually does it fairly slow. Out of all the AD carries, she doesn't really build crit.
And she has to be on it at the start, because if she's not, if you only get like, you know, 2,000 damage worth of spears in, Ren doesn't actually do like more than the smite. You need to be there from the start, like, absolutely layering the spears into it. Not for you to be any real form of secure. So I agree with you.
The game has slowed down significantly just this game back and forth. We saw it in game 1 as well with this Baron. Legacy obviously don't have access to the split push this time, and it's the Chiefs with that victory, or with the lead rather.
Yep.
Ryoma in the top side, Swiper in the bot side, just constantly pushing in, constantly pressuring these turrets as they rotate towards mid. Legacy look to hold their outer in the mid lane. Get a bunch of vision around the Baron, and then Chiefs.
Oh, that's actually going to be the ultimate out of Mimic right now. You can see the rotation was coming across from Raid as well. Swiper has to flash, but that's just going to be mid lane turret access. At least a little bit of a roam coming across from Destiny, trying to get in behind, maybe look for a dive. And you can see they still want Swiper, this time now without flash. They're going to send Raid around the long way. So in goes Mimic. Look, see if he flashes on top of him. He does. Gets the stun. This is going to be the Ren, probably just for... No, he continues to stack them up. So not just for the slow. Sybil in the mid lane cannot die. And they can just back away from the turret. You see Claire also went incredibly low. That is Ryoma flashing forward. He does not get it. Claire outplays Tommy. And that is such a big play, because now in the mid lane they have all the priority. In goes Decoy. Will be thrown at 2 members. Will hit all 3 of them with a knock-up.
Can they get on Raze?
Oh, they're actually looking to turn this one around. They're onto Raze. He will go very low, fall down, and you can see Raid now flashing forward. Gets the Rend reset, and this could just be Baron picked up right now for the Legacy lineup.
Do they actually go for it? No Warmogs yet onto Sybil, so he is fairly low, but with that Brawl, we'll be able to tank it up. As we said, Callista, so much Baron secure potential, and 4 members of Chiefs are dead.
And you have to think that comes from Ryoma looking for a kill, was not content forcing Claire out of the lane, looked for the statement and did not find it. Teleport now coming in out of Ryoma and Swiper. 5,000 health left on this Baron. They can look for it instead. They're going to go for the turn. Ryoma is there. Do Baron. Sybil's going to die as well.
What?
This is an absolute wash right now. Double kill picked up by Ryoma, and Chiefs saved the Baron buff.
In a 2v4, Chiefs should not be able to save that one there. Ryoma hadn't even landed. Just protect Raid. Let him stack up on the Baron. They have no way to actually contest the securing on that buff.
Make them dive into the pit at least.
Sure, once they get into the pit, you have Braum Shield, you have the passive to lock them down if they commit too hard. But we take a look at this 1v1 again. He dashes just through the end of the pebbles, and I mean, that's a juicy kill. He looks incredibly low. Claire just flinging those Qs, and unfortunately wasn't in range for the Q.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. As we see Baron now started up, this will be taken down by the Chiefs, you suspect. However, if I've seen anything, they'll turn around and fight. In comes Mimic, has ulti, gets pushed away. Very nicely done. Now he's in the pit, looks for the big play, will be able to stun up all the members of the Chiefs. Babip, however, get the execute. In goes Raze. Raze, what are you doing? Looking for the outplay. Will get rendered down, will die. And the perfect player makes a mistake.
And 2 carries on the side of Chiefs. They fall down, but it doesn't matter. They get the Baron buff in the end. Still a 4,000 gold lead, and Legacy go from a 4 for whatever it was winning team fight. They should have had Baron, and now Chiefs have the buff. That's huge.
Yeah, it certainly is. However, Legacy will break mid lane turret. Dragon coming up in 1 second. Don't know what it is, but they will get there first of the game. It's going to be an Ocean Drake. Bottom lane turret is in absolutely no man's land, so they should also be able to rotate into that one, you would think. So objectives going over to Legacy. This game is very close. And the lack of exhaust, I'm going to say, has actually come up pretty big. Mimic's got 2 ultis across, and both of them have been massive for his side so far.
If he ever gets in range, if he ever actually gets that off, it will be hugely detrimental to the Chiefs. But they do have that headbutt, and not to mention we saw Raze use the Buster Shot there. Tristana ulti.
But it didn't matter. He didn't have Proto Belt and he didn't have Flash, and he still like torched 3 members.
It gives him like a 2-second window, right?
Yeah.
Whilst you're knocking him away, and then he has to walk back in. Against Baron, though?
I mean, now they're just looking for the flank, and this time he will have Flash available. He will have Proto Belt.
They have to give it up.
So they just respectfully back away. That's nice from Legacy to cut the wave. And they've actually gone in looking for Ryoma. Ryoma will just dash away. So ultimate use for Naught right there from both Sejuani as well as Talia.
Because of that outplay in the top lane, Ryoma does not have the Flash available, so it does well to get himself out of harm's way there. Raid right now, 6-3 on the Callista, does so much damage. Approaching his 2nd lifesteal item. So with the Braum, who I think eventually will go for the Night's Vow. Once you get to late game team fights, if you do not get one shot by the LeBlanc, this Callista will be absolutely popping off, healing so much over the course of the fight.
Kind of confused why he has both a Vamp Scepter as well as an Null Magic Mantle. Everyone's going QSS into Mercurial Scimitar, you're an idiot, but why is he not just going for a Hex Drinker against LeBlanc? Also, Lifeline gives you a truckload of life steal
when it procs, yeah.
So I think just an out-and-out better item. He's also at some point going to need a Lord Dominic's regard.
Yep.
He's kind of got too many components for the amount of items that he actually needs in this game.
Running out of slots. Going to have to sell his Doran's Blade soon. The Baron still is on the side of Chiefs for about a quarter of the buff left. They're probably just going to get this turret in the bot side.
Talk to me as a pro player. You're up in gold. You obviously can't see the scoreboard. You just see 11-11, and you're like, wow, we just lost a couple of team fights. How do the Chiefs kind of measure where they're at in this game? And is it difficult to know when you're ahead and when you're behind?
I think being ahead or behind in terms of gold value is largely irrelevant. At least I did. You play by feel.
Yep.
You feel where the game's at. That's why if in pro plays, when there are like pauses, when there are disconnects, things like that, it really messes with your tempo. Actually, hold that.
Yeah. See whether they get anything onto Decoy here.
Don't.
Just throws up the door. You see they're looking for the bottom lane turret into this 1-3-1. They're trying to take that down. Will be the case. So 5,000 gold, 4-ish actually the case.
Viper versus Mimic. Hyper proc does a lot of damage.
Actually flashes forward looking for the outplay. Mimic just uses his ultimate. Swiper will now be... this is just bad from Swiper. Approaches the turret. He's just going to get chunked out and he's going to go down. Actually, Mimic goes forward as well. What is he doing? He uses Flash. Mimic, just let Raid kill Swiper.
Freest kill of Raid's life there, but Mimic uses his Flash, as you say, as well. And that's such a big deal. That's almost a 3-4 minute cooldown now because he has that summoner cooldown from the spellbook, but that's a big deal.
Confusing.
You die, that's 40 seconds off the map, bad luck. You die and burn Flash, that's a team fight that you can't get into because of headbutt, because of Buster Shot. And Legacy will be relying on Mimic to be doing this damage in the team fights.
Not only that, but he'd already autoed him. He's going to get the assist anyway.
Yep. He wanted him dead. Now. Right now. I want him dead.
All right. Can't really complain too much because Mimic's played a pretty decent set so far today. And we'll just have the map reset. Still about 4,000 gold the lead. Chiefs definitely look better in a 1-3-1.
The gold lead largely. 2,000 onto the Nidalee, but over Sybil right now. And top lane, bot lane. There are some small advantages. Less than 1,000 on either side, but overall fairly even. At 30 minutes into the game, not quite there yet, but 27. 4,000 gold lead in the favor of Legacy right now.
Mimic also wants a hat. He's going for the death cap. I thought maybe we would see something like a Zhonya's into Void Staff. He does not subscribe to Defensive League of Legends, however. Yeah, also waiting on level 16, I think, is a big power point for this Legacy lineup.
I mean, I do also question the hat, because you can get things, obviously the Zhonya's is going to help once you get that engage. Oh, Sybil.
Yeah.
Chained up.
Actually going to be Ryoma flying in again. That's just a wild ulti over the wall. However, Raze will be potentially stunned up here.
Auto?
Just misses. However, they flash forward. They're looking for the AD carry of the Chiefs. However, they might just have to settle for having steak for dinner, as they will potentially pick up Destiny. He actually flashes over the wall. Ren will keep him out there. You can see they're looking to continue to chase onto it. Pebbles will start hitting, and eventually Destiny will fall down.
Yeah, but what does that actually get, Claire? Swipe has been pushing the bot side of the map so long right now. He's onto the inhib turret, doing some damage there, pushing that wave in. Legacy are looking for the mid.
I mean, he's got a BF sword. This is not a slow push coming out of Swiper. Instead, Decoy puts up the door, going to look to defend that turret. You see a big chunk damage going out. However, Raze and Babip will defend, and now Sybil in a little bit of damage. Raze marching forward saying, get back here. But they will successfully disengage. Meanwhile,
1v1 again. Chain has landed.
Yeah, it certainly has. And this time, Claire in a little bit of trouble. You can see Ryoma trying to play around his cooldowns. Threaded Earth will come back out. Unraveled Earth, sorry, will come back out. And Swiper now will be looking to be collapsed on one more time. Swiper's like, leave me alone. And eventually they will.
And Ryoma just struggles to kill Claire so much. He lands the chain and can get him to about 10-20%. But because of the nature of Talia, you're just spamming that Q, flinging those pebbles towards him. And LeBlanc, not the tankiest champion, so if you ever dash over the pebbles or you ever cop a Q to the face, that's going to be rough time.
Raze versus Raze onto Raze. You can see big damage coming out. I don't even think he was going to win the 1v1 regardless.
I mean, if he does an auto attack, he's not going to win. He hit a minion and then it's just stopped hitting things altogether. You saw his player cam. He threw his hands in the air. I don't know what he was trying to do there. 1-4 now.
That might be the Baron.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
On the side of Raze for the Chiefs.
Say that again.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
How many times do we go back and forth? As Legacy, they do start this one up. The wall comes out. Chiefs are nowhere near. They're just looking for bot.
Yeah, they certainly are. Mimic just needs to play defensive because even if this falls down, it's not the biggest deal. will be able to have the Baron creeps there in a second. You can just rip the sticks out whenever you want, Raid. That will fall down. Mimic goes aggressive with the ultimate. Swiper's 2 levels ahead of him, however. And I think, yeah, that's good for Mimic because he didn't have to really use anything apart from the ulti. And he will now have a Baron-empowered recall.
Yep.
Ryoma, cheeky.
Yeah, he's looking for something. Decoy.
Yeah, all of a sudden
Sybil.
you're like, oh yeah, Decoy Sybil run into the lane. I'm just going to give this one up.
See you guys. Not trying to kill those guys, but yeah, as you mentioned, 2 levels the lead for Swiper, but trades come out fairly even. Mimic, as you mentioned, did burn his ulti, but has access to the flash. So the next team fight, if they can get an engage, if they get Fate's Call onto Decoy into, oh, actually, Sybil.
Yeah, it might take a while, but Sybil would lose the 1v1 versus Ryoma.
I reckon he would. Do you reckon Ryoma would take more than 20% of his health? I reckon.
Nah, I don't reckon he would, because he's got a Gunblade.
Yeah.
He's probably going to fight that at full health.
He's just got to heal it back up. That's OP.
They need to give some minion waves right now to Mimic. Mimic's being pretty polite and taking none of them. It gets jumped on by Ryoma and just gets killed. And instead, they're going to look for Ryoma. They throw out the ulti again. Slow is there. Ryoma has to go back into the team because would have got flicked back. Flashes as well. Falls down. I mean, it was a free pick, and then they just... I feel like this Legacy lineup, they just don't like when you kill the boys. They're just like, you know what? You took our Korean top laner. We will take you as well.
Swiper once again sitting in a side lane alone with the turret, just going to whack away. But, I mean, that was the death cap on Mimic, right? If he has a Zhonya's, every time Ryoma goes in, he hits that button, goes in vulnerable, and then Ryoma potentially gets picked anyway. That's a 1 for 0 instead of a 1 for 1. But
do you know what Zhonya's doesn't give you?
Damage. Lots of damage.
If he flies in and gets an ultimate and hits the W button, everyone dies.
Maybe it is actually an adaptation on the fact that there's no exhaust.
Yeah,
but Destiny greeted for the lane summoner. He went to that ignite, wanted the kill pressure, and then he's like, okay, you have no way to stop my damage. I will eventually get in, and when you'll lose the game.
Yeah, and I also think that Destiny not having exhaust is actually a byproduct of the fact that Babip is playing Nidalee. Because otherwise, I think we would have seen an unsealed spellbook alley, because he's not sole frontlining. And he doesn't have to go aftershock. So we'll see whether this all plays out the way we think it will. See, turret right now under fire in the top lane for Chiefs. Legacy picked that one up.
They do lose it. Mid turret is also incredibly low. Chiefs, they are posturing around the jungle, and if Legacy can find an avenue in here, if Mimic can get an engage off in the chokes to the jungle, that will be huge for them.
Yeah, certainly will be. This turret will fall down as well. Kennen kind of posturing at the back of the fights, and Ryoma's looking for him. Mimic is certainly the easiest member to pick right now.
Unfortunately for Legacy, the byproduct of currently winning the game.
Swiper shows top lane, however, has a hop, so they can't just throw out a Talia wall and hope to pick him off. Lots of damage goes out to Sybil.
Yep. As I was saying, unfortunately, it's very hard to flank the enemy once they're in the base. Oh, Braum passive lands. Can they commit?
I think they could have nearly Braum ulted over that wall and just got the boys in there.
They all have flash there. Mimic, Sejuani as well. Destiny stuck inside with Swiper in the wall.
So we'll see what happens here. One more time, Ryoma goes over that wall looking for something, and they will just back away. So that is now no Talia wall. Siege becoming increasingly hard, and in fact, it's just going to be abandoned. And Raid is now by himself. Gets stunned up, gets killed. What is going on?
He greeted there. He has the flash. He could have flashed out of the range of that snare. Wouldn't have been chained up by the Blanc and would have cost him the flash, but would have saved his life. But unfortunately, he does fall down. I think Legacy are just being fairly greedy with their setup. They had the sweeper available on Decoy, but they're not denying the vision. And if Ryoma doesn't have vision, he can't just blind jump over a wall. I mean, he can, but then he's going to hop back immediately, or he's going to die. So they're just not setting up these sieges as disciplined as they should be.
And now 30 seconds until the strongest member of Legacy returns to the map. That is a item.
You guys
Ballista. Wow, Raze really is squishy. I'm not used to seeing 80 carries take that much damage that quickly.
And he used to Cogmore every game when he builds a Frozen Mallet. In Raze's case, at Randuin's.
He was a big proponent of Randuin's.
He loved the Randuin's. When you have an AD dive threat in the enemy team, you pick up a Randuin's, but they don't one-shot you, they're like, what the hell? Then they hit tab and they're like, Tristana has a Randuin's? And then you win the game and you get to laugh. And they get to flame you in the post-game lobby, but you got the W, so it doesn't even matter.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You get the W,
and of course,
you're chilling.
People at home, OPL players do not flame anyone in the post-game lobby. That was a joke. Only sportsman-like behavior here.
It's the solo queue players, man.
Oh, is that the
solo
problem?
Queue players, because they flame you, because you're the OPL player that built the Randuin's there.
Lucky for Bryce, no longer an OPL player, so all the flamers disappeared from his life.
Legacy Notice that happens every time.
Yeah,
like
you just go
rotate.
back to it.
Oh,
Although
actually,
that's an
Swiper
interrupt
cancelled
on the
jump.
hop, and that will be no continued fight there. So just an ultimate out of Sybil.
Yeah, but the flash is burned on the Gnar. Baron spawning in 150, 1 minute and 50 seconds. So the Crab not available just yet, but they do have the vision control.
Yeah, and I feel like right now Mimic is wishing he had himself a Void Staff because everyone has magic resistance.
And Chiefs trying to get some control on the bottom side of the map. They're trying to draw Legacy down here so that they can hit him with the bait and switch. If this bush camp doesn't work, they can go back up and get some control around the Baron. But I do need to note the ward, which I think is a zombie ward, plus the pink ward above red buff on Chief's side of the map, above the Baron, is going to come in huge in 1 minute's time. If Legacy, actually, Ryoma dashes in.
Hops forward, and now everyone is just chasing Ryoma out. You can see Babip shows to try and give him some element of safety.
Oh,
that was so close.
Whoever had that pink moved it. And if that's a zombie ward, you can't TP to it. They had that pink and the red buff above the Baron on Chief's side of the map. That would have been huge if Legacy set up a Baron. Mimic could have gone for a flank, but unfortunately for them, whoever actually owned that pink moved it to the bottom-hand side of the map, so they don't have those flank wards available. Baron spawning in 45 seconds, just under a minute here. Dragon spawning first.
Yeah, huge creep wave top, however, but at the moment, Ryoma by himself in that bottom lane, so you can see they're just running forward. They're just trying to force. They're trying to say, we need to kill someone. Raze by himself in that brush.
The big angry cow with an iron elixir. Wall comes out. Actually, Legacy want this. Decoy. Gets the
back
W.
over. So we'll see whether they can get the dragon. I think that wall's too early. Will come down.
Ryoma looking for a flank behind the dragon pit there, potentially looking for Claire in just a moment. There is no vision there for Legacy, so they have no idea the ping just goes out.
You can see that they're trying to wrestle control of mid lane, but that is so much damage already down onto this Elder Drake. Ultis are available for everyone. 3,000 health. They stop damage. In goes Ryoma onto the back line. That will be Babip picking up Dragon. Although Mimic is on everyone in the back line. Will fall incredibly low. Will fall down. And this is a Chiefs wiping Legacy. Sybil in the middle of 3 members. Can't do anything. Claire is by himself. 2 men shoved back, but Claire will fall down. And you can see Ryoma chasing Sybil, the last man standing, will be able to pick up that kill, and a clean ace for the Chiefs.
And it's too little too late from the lineup of Legacy. Mimic gets onto Raze, but with the Elder Dragon buff, the Chiefs just wipe the floor with the entire roster of Legacy, and all of them go down.
Yeah, exactly right. And with death timers over 30 seconds, the Chiefs Esports Club will just escort that huge creep wave from bottom lane into the base. You can see Ryoma saluting at the fountain, paying respects to the dead members of Legacy. And the Chiefs Esports Club will bring this back to 1-1.
They equalize the series. 1-1, as you say, between these two teams. Chief versus Legacy, El Clasico in the OPL. Your favorite name for a rivalry.
But at the end of the day, Chiefs bring it back. It was a rocky game, back and forth.
Yeah.
Legacy able to pick themselves up a Baron. Looked like they had the team fight comp rolling finally. But the Chiefs in that last team fight just stood strong, and Swiper on the back lane was just a serial pest on Gnar. Maybe time to look at that and maybe take it away.
Running interference.
Yep, certainly was. It won the split push even. So Mimic's counter pick of the AP cannon did not work out. Claire rubbing his head. Also had a tough time into the LeBlanc.
You don't pick the AP cannon into the Gnar to win the split push, right? Like, you want to be team fighting. Yep. I mean, maybe as a byproduct you do at certain item break points, but the big thing is you want to get that flank engage off, and they just never did. They never set that up. There was that one ward that I noted, but then they ended up fighting at the Elder Drake when the Baron spawned. Like, at that stage, you can just trade. Baron lasts significantly longer. It's very hard to push onto a Baron with an Elder. Like, if you don't get a perfect engage off and get the dive, then you just stave it off. You just wave clear, just hitting the creeps.
Yeah, I mean, they did it so well in previous games.
Yep.
Legacy is certainly a team that is disciplined in their setup, doesn't really force. In that game, they seemed like they were forcing a little bit.
Yeah, I have to honestly disagree, I guess, in terms of the discipline. When they were sieging the top side, they didn't sweep out those visions. That vision, rather. They didn't like deny the vision so that Ryoma could keep getting these chunks off over the wall sort of thing. And then, yeah, and I just mentioned it, right? Like the Elder Drake contest, I think just go for the Baron. You don't have to fight. You don't have to full 5v5 this lineup with the alley, like keeping you out with that Gnar, with the combo. He pocked the Mega. It's just questionable.
Yeah, it certainly was. And they all game just got stuck in a 1-3-1 that they were not winning. I mean, either side of it, Talia was getting bullied around by LeBlanc. We saw some nice outplays from Claire and, you know, able to spam out that Q. But Gnar was bullying around the cannon all game long. They were just getting starved off minion waves. You can see that was coming up huge in level disparities.
And I mean, what you have to do in that situation is you have to sack something. If you're the Kennen sitting bot and you're like, okay, I'm just getting shoved in by this, all you need to do is like bring your team down, push you out, and then you sack a couple of waves to get the flank wards on the other side of the map. If you literally require this flank to get the team fight off, the engage that you need, look, if it costs you 2-3 minion waves, then so be it. If it costs you half health on a turret that you're going to lose eventually anyway, then so be it. If it gets you the game-winning team fight that gets you the Baron, then just do it. And I feel like that's what Legacy were lacking in that game.
Yeah, and the team fight just never came. And when it did come, the Chiefs absolutely rinsed them for it. So to break this game down further, let's throw it over to Laura and Shoes.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, the Chiefs able to bring this game back 1-1. Was a very close game, very back and forth. It's a common theme with this series. I want to start talking about the draft once again because we saw the Nidalee and LeBlanc coming out. Soulstrike said in the interview that he was expecting a counter pick to come out for the Taliyah, but Claire still didn't really have a good time going into that.
I think the LeBlanc pick was smart. It's definitely a very easy matchup for the LeBlanc. I think the biggest... Well, I think what really showed that Legacy were going to lose this game was when they let Chiefs set up the 1-3-1. Because as soon as that 1-3-1 was set up, you have Nah versus Kennen, and Mimic did a very greedy build this game, going to Death Cap. He was not going to win that 1v1. And then you had Taliyah into LeBlanc. She almost got solo killed numerous times. And then the mid lane, this Tristana was just scaling. So as soon as we saw that there was a 1-3-1, I started thinking like Legacy they don't have control of the game anymore.
I kind of want to touch on Mimic a bit as well because even though he's historically been a counter into Nah, I feel like the Chiefs were able to neutralize him, especially in the early game. I think we saw him just sitting at towers constantly defending for quite a bit there before he was starting to able to get some ults off and make an impact into the game.
Yeah, the Kennen pick does require like a lot of safety because you are very squishy, especially if you do build ability power. We used to see Kennen split push where he could build a bit of health, and that was generally what that matchup was about. But like the AP build, and you're versing a Nidalee jungle. Nidalee jungle is known to just dominate, roam a lot. And the early first blood that Sybil was able to secure on the Nidalee and gave double buffs to the Kennen was definitely what put them on the front foot. But this still doesn't nullify the fact that Nidalee Nah have very good die potential on Kennen, and he had to respect that. And as a result, he had to be he was stuck under towers the entire game.
But as you were saying, the Chiefs didn't want to group with their team composition.
No.
But unfortunately for them, there was a time where they made a few mistakes across the lanes that Legacy were able to capitalize on.
Well, this was like Legacy's, I guess, like play. They knew that they were going to lose mid tower eventually, so they create a play on bot lane, pick Nah. LeBlanc over chases, very unfortunate. Claire's able to make the outplay, and Legacy's in a position of power where they finally got something to work for them this game, and they engage mid. They get a really nice Sejuani ult that just clips Nidalee here, and they're able to lock on to Tristana. Raid plays very well on Callista here, able to get a double kill. Kennen eventually cleans up Alistar. They go to Baron. But unfortunately, you're not the team with the Mountain Drake. You're not going to do enough to it. And they didn't respect the double TP coming out of the two solos that were killed a lot earlier into this whole sham. So it did end up, they traded like 3 for 1, kind of fell back. But I think if they knew that maybe we should respect double TP, let's take mid tower, maybe some of the jungle camps, that probably would have been a lot smarter. But unfortunately, both teams had these errors this game.
So going into game number 3, what do Legacy need to fix up to be able to take this series? Is it something that they need to fix in the draft phase, getting rid of this Nidalee and eliminating this 1-3-1, or is it something more like they're making more proactive plays?
Well, I think Legacy, as we saw just then, do make proactive plays even when they're behind. We saw them play from ahead. They're very good. But into this next game, they're on blue side, which you won game 1 with. Sorry, they're on red side. So I think they will go back to their game 1 draft, what worked, which ensures that their mid laner gets a counter pick. They can ban the LeBlanc out. That seems a bit of an issue. You will probably see a similar game to game 1, but on Chiefs' hand, I think they're obviously on the back foot because they need to react to what didn't work in game 1. But I have faith in Legacy to pull this series out.
We'll see if they are able to pull this back. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to have game 3 of this fiesta between the Chiefs and Legacy right after the break.
in big trouble. That's a lot of damage coming out. Rage jumps in. Stopwatch, however, means that now he is stuck in there and he cannot jump out. You see, he gets stunned up, gets flicked back, and that is a huge ultimate coming out of Mimic, stunning up multiple members. Ryoma so low, flash forward, and the Chiefs looking to turn this fight on its head. They're so low. Mimic uses a stopwatch, but they just cannot get the last tick of damage, and the Chiefs wipe Legacy. In goes Decoy. Will be thrown at 2 members. Will hit all 3 of them with a knock-up.
Can they get on Raze?
Oh, they're actually looking to turn this one around. They're onto Raze. He will go very low, fall down, and you can see Raid now flashing forward. Gets the Rend reset, and this could just be Baron picked up right now for the Legacy lineup. In goes Ryoma onto the backline. That will be Babip picking up Dragon. Although Mimic is on everyone in the backline. Will fall incredibly low, will fall down, and this is the Chiefs wiping Legacy. Sybil in the middle of 3 members, can't do anything into the base. You can see Ryoma saluting at the fountain, paying respects to the dead members of Legacy, and the Chiefs Esports Club will bring this back to 1-1.